I only get 2 types of messages on Instagram. Will you marry me? Will you fund my startup? There are only 2.
To the point.
To the point. मैं तो 32 साल से मेन कैरेक्टर एनर्जी में ही हूँ. I think ambition is like a tool for self growth. I think it's important to be ambitious because if you're not ambitious, then you will not want to step out of your comfort zone. And if you don't step out of your comfort zone, you will never grow. And if you don't grow, then you'll stagnate. And then you defeat the purpose of your life, which is evolution. I think discipline is very sexy.
हाय वानी,
Hi Pranav.
अपने पॉडकास्ट पे गेस्ट बन के कैसा लग रहा है?
बढ़िया. कोई मेहनत नहीं करनी पड़ती ना फिर.
मेरे मत्थे जिम्मेदारी डाल दिया.
हाँ, मैंने तुम्हारे माथे इसलिए जिम्मेदारी डाल दी क्योंकि अब हम दोस्त बन गए हैं, तो इतना तो तुम्हारा बनता है. मैं तुम्हारे इतने कपड़े नहीं पहनती. जहाँ देखो मुझे अपने कपड़े पहना के भेज देते हो.
You realize that the camera is on. This is our friendship. This is what I have to deal with. This is the equation. Power dynamic ये है. हमने establish कर दिया है बात शुरू करने से पहले.
हाँ.
But no, thank you for coming to your podcast. Before we start, I was thinking मेरा एक छोटा सा पॉडकास्ट है जहाँ पे I share stories and छोटी मोटी poetry here and there.
सुनिए मैंने वायरल वाली.
We're not getting there. So उसमें
सुनाओ ना एक
एक ओपनिंग रिमार्क था.
हाँ.
कि किसी भी कहानी को शुरू करने से पहले
हाँ.
वो किस नज़रिए से देखी जा रही है, मेरे लिए जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है. जैसे खुद को कभी खुद से अलग करके देखता हूँ तो कितना कुछ जानने को मिलता है अपने ही बारे में. जैसे ऊपर से कहीं खुद को देखता हूँ तो कद बौना लगता है, धरातल के नीचे से देखता हूँ तो कद ऊंचा. वो अलग बात है कि इस वक्त मैं खुद को उसकी नज़र से देख रहा हूँ. क्या दिख रहा है?
क्या दिख रहा है मुझे?
आप गेस्ट हो अपने पॉडकास्ट पे. आप
हाँ.
मैं सवाल करूंगा, आप जवाब दोगे.
मुझे दिख रहा है कि पिछले 1 साल में जब से हमने शुरू किया मैंने बहुत सारे नए दोस्त बनाए हैं, इंक्लूडिंग यू, और वो बहुत प्यारे हैं. तो मुझे तो बहुत मज़े आ रहे हैं यार.
तो अभी मुझे बताओ कि इतने सारे लोगों से आपने दोस्ती करी, इतने सारे लोगों से बातें करी. आई थिंक ये 39th या 38th के आसपास एपिसोड है.
Roughly.
And the diversity of those people that you've covered, right? Their
Yeah.
lifestyle, their profession. तो पहले जहन में कौन सी 2 से 3 चीज़ें आती हैं जिसने आपके दिमाग पर डेंट डाला हो या हार्ट पे डेंट डाला हो, या जो ऐसे एस्पेक्ट्स जो कभी सोचे ही नहीं थे और एकदम से उजागर हो गए हमारे सामने? कुछ ऐसा है?
Heavy words. उजागर. Conversationally you mean? Like people that made me think?
Yeah, through this podcast.
Yeah.
Like what are the top 3 moments, any anecdote, like anything that comes to you?
So definitely meeting Sister Shivani was one of them, as I think one would assume that, meeting someone who's such a profound teacher.
Have we spoken about it?
Yeah, we've spoken about it, and I'm very fortunate that I've had now, through this, I had the opportunity to meet her.
Yeah.
And then actually spend some time with her as well. And I think I really have been enjoying interacting with her, learning from her. I went for a meditation workshop also to Mount Abu. And that was a phenomenal experience.
Yeah.
So definitely that has been very, very instrumental in terms of let's say internal change and growth.
Yeah.
I think I've met so many fun people, yeah. I didn't think I would meet comedians or fun, artists and stuff
And you
like
met
that.
everybody largely
Yeah, because I mean my main work is real estate, and the people that you meet because of that are brokers or bankers or customers or vendors and consultants, lawyers. That's it. You don't meet artists or you don't meet creative people as much. I think the most creative people you'll meet there are architects or designers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think I would sit across Kapil Sharma and have a chat. I think that's incredible, yeah. Or sit and have a very important conversation about things that people should learn from, let's say, Ramayana or Mahabharata with someone like Devdutt Patnaik. So I think that way it's just been phenomenal. It's been amazing to sit with such great people and meet, make so many new friends, including yourself. In the last 1 year that we've met, I think we've gone from us not knowing each other at all, because it feels weird that we're sitting in the same place as we were a year ago. And the nature of conversation then, which was so formal, to what it is now, or how much we've gotten to know each other now. It's
I think
amazing.
there's a lot of effort, sorry to cut you, that we are putting to be this formal. So this is work. No, but yeah, you were saying.
It's true. It's not like we don't plonk on sofas and chat absolute nonsense ordinarily. So, this is, I think, the most formal conversation we've had since then. I think since then, we just connected and became great friends, and we owe it to Varun Bell for, the introduction to him.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you, Varun.
Yeah, thank you, Varun. So I remember sitting with him and asking him, because I'd heard your poetry, and I was like, can you ask him to come?
Yeah.
And thankfully, without any proof of concept or without seeing anything that we had done, because we hadn't published anything yet, you very kindly agreed when he called you, and then you came, and then when we met, then, we've become friends since then. And I just want to say that in this season, at least, the number of clothes that I've worn made by you should be very telling of how good we are.
That's all
as friends.
organic. I have not put any brand placement in any
No,
of
there's
the
no
episodes.
brand placement, and I just want to say कि मैं बहुत कपड़े खरीदती हूँ. ऐसे कोई
That's on record.
I buy a ton of clothes.
Yeah.
But you send me a ton of clothes also. That's the truth.
Yeah.
But everybody has appreciated the clothes I've worn when they've been yours.
No, it's very interesting, just re-emphasizing on the amount of change that I have also seen in you in the last 1 year.
मैं पहले कैसी थी फिर?
ऐसी तो थी बिल्कुल.
So क्या change देखा बताओ?
Because I feel, in all honesty, jokes aside, I think we as people grow by the amount of new people that we meet.
Yeah.
By the amount of new places that we visit, and by the amount of diverse books that we read.
Correct.
And people, in a way, are kind of literature and art in their own merit. So the beauty is that you cover such diversity within society, from different industries, different professions, which as an audience also I've seen, I've seen a few episodes from After Hours. Anvesh Sahu's episode I saw. He's such a beautiful person.
You've seen all the ones where people have praised human.
Yeah.
Gulshan Devaya also.
Yes. So,
he recognized that I was wearing the human shirt.
Yeah, his just awareness towards fashion is also
He's really
incredible.
cool.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
I know that I might be wrong, but he's also from NIFT.
He is.
Yes.
NIFT Bangalore.
Yeah, so I think that sense of fashion and curiosity towards fashion also probably, just generates from there. No, very interesting.
But see, like, I was having a conversation with Gulshan about Cannes. And never a year ago would I have thought that I will be speaking to Gulshan Devaya on text and we'll be discussing Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have been possible in the absence of this.
Do you believe in the power of manifestation?
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on it. मैं तुम्हें बताती हूँ. I think manifestation ना थोड़ा ये शब्द जानने के लिए also you have to be privileged. The ordinary Joe who is just like working really hard to get their daily dihadi does not even know what this word means.
No, nomenclature aside, just the power of it, like what it does.
पता नहीं.
Just the act of it.
I don't know. I don't know if any of this is manifestation.
But you've experienced that, like you've just mentioned that, thought turning into reality.
Okay, so I'll tell you, with Gulshan, I know why you've taken it into this direction. Good one. You should start a podcast, Pranav. So we'll discuss this. But so I was on a Delhi-London flight. It's an 8-hour flight, and I downloaded the entire season of The Heart. And I watched the entire season on that flight. And I like to sometimes share reviews on my stories, and I watched this, I thought it was great, or it wasn't. Not that anybody cares, but whatever, जो भी चंद लोग पढ़ते हैं उनके लिए. तो मैंने तब अपने नोट्स ऐप में लिखा था कि द ब्रेकआउट परफॉर्मेंस in my opinion, or the best performance was that of Gulshan's, and I never shared it. And it just stayed there. And genuinely, I thought he was phenomenal. He is one of my favorite actors. And then nothing, 2-3 weeks later, I think we were just sitting and having a chat. So I don't know if that's manifestation now, or just that it was fated.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was saying, nomenclature aside, just the power to bend your reality, or just the power to kind of be in a certain sense of control of where your future is headed. Everybody experiences it. A lot of energy role is played in that, no matter which part of society you come from.
Agreed. But मुझे ऐसा लगता है ये वर्ड को सब लोग ने इतना अब्यूज़ कर दिया है ना, कि अब कोई भी कुछ भी मैनिफेस्टेशन के नाम पे बेच रहा है. और मुझे उससे प्रॉब्लम है, क्योंकि मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि अगर मैं देखूं कोई लेबरर जो साइट पे, अगर वो कितनी बार, जैसे हम इतनी मेजरली विजन बोर्ड्स वगैरह को सेल करते हैं, तो सिर्फ ये रोज़ बोलने से कि मेरे पास प्राइवेट जेट है, या उसकी फ़ोटो चिपकाने से उसकी किस्मत नहीं बदलेगी. आई फील लाइक देयर इज़ अ बैलेंस, देयर इज़ अ मिक्स, एंड आई थिंक द रीज़न व्हाई आई एम हेजिटेंट टू जस्ट ओपनली से मैंने मैनिफेस्ट कर लिया है, क्योंकि मैंने इतने बेवकूफ़ लोगों को इसका दुरुपयोग करते हुए देखा है कि वो अब क्लासेस ले रहे हैं और पता नहीं 5-5 हज़ार रुपये 1 घंटे की चार्ज करें सिखाने के लिए कि हाउ टू मैनिफेस्ट एंड ऑल. एंड आई जस्ट फील लाइक, I think for me it's like you're in a good energy, you work hard, and hopefully you'll attract good energy. And for me, if there is such a thing as manifestation, it would be this.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Love के बारे में आपका क्या है?
फिर से पूछो.
लव के बारे में आपका क्या है?
आपका क्या है, मतलब क्या?
आपकी क्या राय है?
ओ, राय क्या है?
हाँ.
ये क्या सवाल है? लव के बारे में आपका क्या है?
I'm curious. Like I'm always curious about anybody's
Yeah.
opinion about love, not
हाँ,
necessarily.
और ये सवाल
that.
मैं बहुत लोगों से पूछती हूँ, तो
हाँ.
it's only fair it comes back right at me. मेरा ये मानना है कि so just actually on a serious note, there's this really good book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. ठीक है, तो उसमें उन्होंने लिखा था that love is the language of the universe, the language of the soul. तो I think in simple words, this is my understanding of it also. That हर किसी में है, हर किसी को देना है, हर किसी को चाहिए. और मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि हम बहुत प्रेशर डालते हैं उन रोमांटिक रिलेशनशिप्स टू फुलफिल अस. ये मेरा मानना नहीं है. आई डोंट थिंक टू पीपल एवर कंप्लीट ईच अदर और शुड expect that from each other. I think that you are whole, you're complete. If you find a co-passenger on that journey of life, it's great. If you don't, you're still complete. You can still be happy. And it's great if you have someone to share that life with. But if not, then that's also fine. And maybe from time to time, you just have different co-passengers. And that's also okay. So it's just that.
Flirt करते हैं लोग आपसे? Well, I'm not having a stand-up show. Why aren't you taking me seriously?
Because it's very hard to take very good friends seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
We've sat on
Yeah.
your sofa and
Yeah.
discussed such bullshit.
Yeah.
So this is like a strange-ish conversation, but I'm actually really enjoying it also. I couldn't think of
I'm
someone
glad.
better to do it.
I'm
Because if I was to celebrate 100,000 subscribers of After Us, then I want to do it with the one person who I made as a really great friend while I was on
That's
it.
very
right?
sweet of you.
So, getting back to your point, हाँ, थोड़ा बहुत.
Yeah?
Yeah.
कहाँ पर? Social media
हाँ,
or like in generally in life and because you also travel a lot.
I do.
Has any stranger ever come to you and just like,
Of course.
yeah? Give an anecdote, like something funny or something that comes to your mind.
I
or
think you
anything
should
recent?
do that because I think you travel alone far more than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so see,
बट मैं इतना खुशनसीब नहीं हूँ ना, तभी तो मैंने आपसे सवाल पूछा
क्या
है।
बकवास
तो
कर
लगा
रहे हो?
ऐसा भी होता है
तुम्हारे
दुनिया
DMs
में।
पढ़े हैं मैंने,
But they are
सब पता है मुझे.
they are very sweet. They're not flirtatious from any nature.
They are devoted.
They're-
Pranav has
no,
devotees.
they're sweet.
They're sweet. They're very
Yeah.
sweet. Mine are also sweet only.
Yeah.
I only get 2 types of messages on Instagram. Will you marry me? Will you fund my startup? There are only 2.
To the point.
To the point.
On all
शादी
extremes.
करो, पैसे दो.
हाँ, किसी को
दोनों
दिए
यहाँ पे.
पैसे भी तो
नहीं, शादी भी नहीं करी.
शादी तो करी नहीं है, we all
हाँ,
know.
हाँ.
So that's out of the way.
DM पे पैसे कौन देता है यार, ये क्या बकवास है. अरे, I have to tell you this very funny incident, okay? So once I got a call from some broker in Bangalore and he said that हमारे ना एयरपोर्ट के पास में ये लैंड पार्सल्स हैं, आपको चाहिए, बहुत अच्छा, whatever, something, ये अप्रूवल मिला हुआ है. तो ऐसे नहीं, मैं साउथ इंडिया में हम लोग नहीं काम करते हैं, तो मुझे आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड. तो उसने मुझे अपना पूरा नाम वाम बताया, जो भी उसका नाम था मैं भूल गई. तो उसके बाद वो कॉन्वर्सेशन ख़त्म हो गई, मैंने मना कर दिया फ़ोन पे कि नहीं करना. तो मुझे उसी वक्त, एंड मैं आई थिंक वंस इन 3-4 डेज शायद अपने रिक्वेस्ट्स देखती हूँ इंस्टाग्राम पे, तो उसी वक्त उसका सेम इंसान का मैसेज आया सेइंग कि यू आर वेरी नाइस मैडम, विल यू मैरी मी मैडम. एंड आई एम जस्ट लाइक, उसको या तो ब्रोकरेज चाहिए या तो पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ एलिमनी चाहिए, मतलब दोनों में से एक तो उसको चाहिए. तो ऐसे भी लोग
How
होते
did you
हैं.
respond? How did you
I
respond? to
didn't respond to that message. What is there to say? I don't respond to any of these messages. I don't want them to feel like I might be interested if I'm not. I think that would be unfair.
it? Is it your general go-to action
Not
to
responding.
make people feel like you're not interested?
Yeah, because more often than not, I'm not interested.
So what is the kind of profile you're interested in? I'm just trying to like
Tum
dig in
is-
deeper, maybe make it easier.
Have you become Seema auntie?
Make it
What do you
easier
mean
for
profile?
people. Make it easier for people to like what is it that you find charming in a human being,
Kindness.
or rather attractive? Yeah.
Kindness is the most attractive thing about a person, I think. I hate people who are entitled. It's just so off-putting when they just misbehave with other people, or just think that just because you come from a certain amount of privilege, you can just be nasty to somebody. I don't like that attitude. So definitely kind, compassionate, people. Yeah. So good man who's kind, compassionate, ambitious. I think ambition is like a tool for self-growth. I think it's important to be ambitious, because if you're not ambitious, then you will not want to step out of your comfort zone. And if you don't step out of your comfort zone, you will never grow. And if you don't grow, then you'll stagnate.
Yeah.
And then you defeat the purpose of your life, which is evolution. So I feel like ambition is a very important tool for evolution and growth. So I think being ambitious is a very attractive quality in a man.
Yeah. Very interesting of what you just said, and it reminds me that something that you're very conscious, or rather conscious, not the word, but very aware of, is this term that you often use as privilege, which I think is a sign of, first of all, self-awareness, and secondly, of a very positive mindset. So when you use that word, how do you view privilege, and what is the privilege that you feel you might enjoy, which gives you maybe a certain edge? How does it play? Like, why do you keep why do you use this word?
Because the world is not equal. Everybody does not have equal opportunities. I am acutely aware that let's say everybody's bodies are also different. Somebody is more athletic than the other. Somebody is stronger than the other. You could be physically, mentally stronger than your peers, etc., or your classmates if you're in school or whatever. Let's say because when you were in your mother's womb, your nutrition was really good. She was very happy, etc., etc. Your genetics are good, so maybe you objectively look a certain kind of way. That is very palatable to people. You've always had a roof over your head, you've had electricity, you've had the opportunity to go and learn at school, you've had comfortable cars. Of course, all of this is basic level of privilege. I've enjoyed something far, far, far greater than this. So I just feel like it would be foolish for me to not be aware of the fact that, my challenges in the grand scheme of things, are actually objectively minor inconveniences in the lives of many, right? So I can't say that my life is the same as someone who's, let's say, had a very traumatic childhood, or who's endured physical abuse, or things like that, endured poverty, not had food to eat. Of course I know my life has not been anything close to that. So if I'm not even aware of that, then something is very wrong. So I feel like because I've had so much, I've come into I come from a family where my parents were very loving, very nurturing, very encouraging. It's not like I had to fight with them कि मुझे कुछ बनना है. They were just like तुम्हें जो बनना है तुम बनो, and हम जैसे support कर सकते हैं हम करेंगे. मैं I've studied abroad, I've lived abroad for 5 years, very very comfortably, very very well. I live with my parents, in a nice house. I get to be a part of a business and have titles at a very young stage ordinarily, which I know that मैं अगर नौकरी कर रही होती तो नहीं मिलते मुझे. मुझे और काम करना पड़ता. मिल तो जाता because I know that I'm talented and hard working, but इतनी जल्दी तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं मिलता. तो मुझे जो वो रन अप मिलता है एक्स्ट्रा, वो मुझे एक्नॉलेज तो करना चाहिए. तो मेरी लाइफ तो है बहुत प्रिविलेज, इसलिए मुझे बहुत ये नाराज़गी रहती है प्रिविलेज लोगों से जो एक्नॉलेज ही नहीं करते कि वो प्रिविलेज्ड हैं. मतलब आई थिंक इट्स टू टोन डेफ कि आपको अगर किसी ने बोल दिया आपके पास सब कुछ है, ठीक है, यू हैव ग्रेट पेरेंट्स, आपने अच्छा खासा पढ़ लिया, आपके पास आपकी हेल्थ है, आपके पास अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ गलोर हैं, आपको जो चाहिए आपके पास है, और अगर 5-6 लोगों ने आपको बोल दिया कि यू नॉट गोना मेक इट, तो उस पर आपको मतलब किताब लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है कि ओ आई वाज टोल्ड आई एम नॉट गोना मेक इट. क्यों? द वर्ल्ड इज़ डिज़ाइंड टू मेक पीपल लाइक यू सक्सेसफुल. The world is designed to make people like me successful. तो if I am successful, इसमें कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. मैं नहीं होती तो फिर शर्म आनी चाहिए, क्योंकि इतनी opportunities के साथ और इतने sort of good ingredients के साथ अगर आप अच्छी डिश नहीं बनाओगे तो फिर तो that's you are lacking. और अगर आपने बना ली तो good only, मतलब ये तो basic ही था. फिर इसमें कोई accomplishment मुझे तो नहीं लगती. I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's very interesting how your mind operates. There's always a certain sense of humility that I always experience around you. Like you're very, very self-aware, and that is why probably you keep going back to reminding. Maybe this is your way of reminding yourself of your background or your place in society or the lead or the advantage that you've been provided.
Of course, I think I have a very very big lead and a very very big advantage, and which makes me feel responsible कि इसको तो justice करना ही पड़ेगा. मैं नहीं जाके बोल सकती कि मैं हूँ नेपोकिड, मैं नहीं जाके बोल सकती something in the same space as my dad was not called on coffee with Karan. मतलब ये क्या बातें होती हैं? I think that's really silly.
What is this?
What do you mean, what is this? Ananya Pandey, na?
Huh.
Penton said I've struggled so much. My dad, not struggled, but I've had my own challenges.
Yeah.
My dad was not like a big star. He was not called on coffee with Karan. आप शाहरुख खान के घर में पले बड़े हो, ये कोई बात है करने की? सब आपको जानते हैं बचपन से. आपके डैड एक्टर हैं, आपके पास इतनी एडवांटेज है, तो आप एक्नॉलेज करो कि एडवांटेज है, बहुत मेहनत करो टू बी गुड, एंड एक्नॉलेज करो कि अगर आप पहली 5-6 पिक्चरें एकदम बकवास करोगे तो भी आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल जाएगी. बट किसी आउटसाइडर को पहली पिक्चर के बाद अगर उन्होंने अच्छा नहीं किया तो कभी वापस अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिलेगी. तो इसमें तो एक्नॉलेज करनी चाहिए प्रिविलेज.
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. म्यूट कर दिया आपने मुझे.
I think you are far more self-made, yeah?
We all are in a way, I often feel.
I don't think I'm self-made.
I often feel, coming back to the keyword privilege over here, and I keep thinking about it. I feel, in my context, I feel I'm extremely privileged, to be able to create opportunities or get opportunities along my path.
But I'm just saying that if we were to measure privilege, of course you are also privileged when it comes to objectively so many other people, but I think that it would be foolish if I didn't say, oh my god, my head start that I was just given was far more.
That's self awareness.
हाँ चलो.
मेजर तो किसी को भी दो तराजू पे नहीं कर सकते, दोनों लोग एक दूसरे से डिफरेंट ही होंगे. सो आई थिंक अपनी लाइफ में ऑलवेज से आपको मेन कैरेक्टर फील होते रहना चाहिए. आप किसी भी
मैं तो 32 साल से मेन कैरेक्टर
किसी भी
एनर्जी में
बैकग्राउंड
ही
से
हूँ.
हूँ, एक बैकग्राउंड में बॉलीवुड का गाना बजता रहना चाहिए
हाँ.
जो आपका साउंड ट्रैक हो, और उस पे आपको पेस पकड़ लेना चाहिए.
तुम्हारा बॉलीवुड साउंड ट्रैक क्या है?
कई सारे हैं, कई सारे मौकों के लिए अलग अलग हैं.
एक बताओ.
यू नो कभी अलविदा ना कहना का.
रॉक एंड रोल सोनी.
No. The title track with when the piano plays. I love that. So अगर वो बैकग्राउंड चेंज कर दोगे आप, शीशा चेंज कर दो, लेंस चेंज कर दो, यू नो रोमांस से you can dive into you know your career. It will keep changing, like
Yeah.
and with that you keep moving at a different pace.
Some days I genuinely wake up with like Dangal title track energy
Oh yeah.
when I'm going to work.
So what's your morning like?
I wake up by about 6:30. On some days I go for Pilates at about like 7:30 is my class. Then nothing, then come back home, have a quick breakfast, leave for work. I try in the mornings that I meditate every day. So the mornings that I'm not working out, I'll meditate in the morning. And then otherwise the days I'm working out, I'll meditate at night. And what else? Yeah.
Like guided meditation.
Sometimes guided, sometimes not. But I've been meditating now for many years, so I can actually do very long unguided meditations also. So that's always like, it's a very important part of my day. So I think that, but basic only.
पूजा
Like-
करते हो?
नहीं.
बिलीव करते हो?
भगवान में हाँ 100%. But my God has no form. Like it's not like I attach myself to any deity या मुझे कोई बहुत calling होती है एक particular हिंदू गॉड से. ऐसे नहीं हुआ मेरे साथ कभी कि मतलब मैं दरगाह भी जा सकती हूँ, मैं मंदिर भी जा सकती हूँ, मैं चर्च भी जा सकती हूँ, मैं गुरुद्वारे भी जा सकती हूँ, मैं हर जगह कनेक्ट कर लेती हूँ और मेरी ऐसे कोई पुल नहीं है टू वन गॉड.
सो रिलीजन के कोई मायने नहीं है?
I can't say that क्योंकि because I mean I am a Hindu, so I've little bit like just you know scratched the surface of Hinduism and मैं उससे काफ़ी resonate करती हूँ because मुझे काफ़ी एक progressive religion लगता है Hinduism. But ऐसे वो नहीं है कि मतलब मैं कोई I would not call myself a religious person at all. बस मुझे हिंदुइज्म के बारे में थोड़ा पता है क्योंकि वो मेरा रिलीजन है, बट उसके अलावा मेरी कोई पुल नहीं है टू रिलीजन.
So you think it's relevant in today's day and age?
Yeah,
what
I
is the
think
role of
for
religion?
some people it's very relevant क्योंकि if you read so many of the Harari books also, you know, they talk about how all of these constructs whatever are important poles to get people together. Right? तो शायद काफ़ी लोगों के लिए it is like a stepping stone to spirituality. कि बहुत सारे लोग एक साथ जब कुछ करते हैं, they feel a certain connect, they feel that you know faith together, and फिर वो religion से शायद spirituality पे आ पाते हैं. तो I think उस way में तो it's you know very very useful.
Culture
perhaps.
impact.
हाँ, but मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि I think I may have crossed that threshold where it makes no difference to me.
So you said morning is starting with Pilates and it's
Yeah.
very controlled.
Yeah, but I'm very disciplined.
Yeah.
I think discipline is very
Evenings
sexy.
are also as disciplined.
Monday to Friday, I barely go out. I don't think you will ever. We barely met on a weekday.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'm too tired. I'm too spent from the day. I just want to go home and you know, relax. Weekends, I'm a very different weekend personality and a very different weekday personality.
So typically there is no after hours after hours.
There is no after hours after hours. That is true. That is very true. We do 2 shoots in a day.
Yeah.
वो दिन ही इतनी लेट खत्म होता है, मैं तो मर गई होती हूँ तब तक.
So now tell me, what is the ambition with after hours? Like how do you see this progressing? Do you have a certain I would say personality in mind or something that like a
I think that मुझे जो भी चाहिए होता है वो आ ही जाता है.
again we're rolling back to manifestation.
हाँ, और just simply.
So you've already mapped it out in your head.
I think so maybe.
Yeah.
I know who all I want for season 3.
Can you drop names?
No. I'll tell you off camera. So I think आ जाएंगे, जो आया सो आया, नहीं आया तो नहीं थी
Yeah.
लिखी, कोई बात नहीं.
कहाँ लिख रहे हो आप ये सब?
Whatever is fated shall be. Maktoob, na? Same concept from The Alchemist.
Makhtub.
Yeah, it's all fated.
It's what? Persian or
Yeah.
Arabic?
Yeah. But it's Persian, I think.
What does it
Or
mean?
it could be Arabic, I'm not sure. It just means it's all fated. I think it's Arabic.
Oh, lovely. Learned a new word today.
Yeah, Maktoob.
Makhtub.
Yeah. MAKHTUB.
How
तुमने
do you,
किताब नहीं पढ़ी
how
ना
do you
ये?
use that in the sentence? No. I know about the book, but then I've not read.
I'll gift it to you.
Yeah. Sign करके देना.
मैं क्या साइन करूंगी उसको? पोलो कोएलो से साइन
You know, I
कराओ?
remember by signing. So my very good friend Aanchal Malhotra, who's
हाँ,
also a
she's writer.
historian, writer. So हम लोग कभी-कभी literature events पे इधर-उधर मुझे लेकर के जाती. तो एक बार गुलजार साहब का एक उनकी I think वो पहली नॉवल थी शायद, I might be wrong. दो लोग करके उन्होंने नॉवल लिखी थी और उसका वो था
Book launch.
उद्घाटन था. हाँ, बुक लॉन्च था. आई थिंक हैबिटेट में या कहीं पे. तो हम लोग गए थे और फिर आंचल ने कहा कि तुम्हारी तस्वीर खींचती हूँ मैं. मैंने कहा I was anyway feeling very hesitant to be in the same frame as गुलजार साहब.
The legend.
Yeah, but she pushed me, she encouraged me to go and. तो अब मैंने कभी कराया नहीं है बुक साइनिंग, तो मुझे पता नहीं था कि जनरल नॉर्म्स क्या होते हैं, बुक साइनिंग कहाँ पे करी जाती है. तो जनरली लोग पहले पन्ने पर साइन करते हैं ना, तो मैंने बुक ख़त्म कर दी कि मेरे दिमाग में चल रहा था कि ऑथर बुक शुरू करने के पहले कैसे साइन करेगा. एक आर्टिस्ट तो काम ख़त्म करने के पहले साइन करता है ना. तो आई पुट द बुक इन फ्रंट ऑफ हिम, आई वाज लाइक गुलजार साहब, तो ही इज़ लाइक अरे ये तो बड़ी अनोखी अदा है ये. अब मैंने
अनोखी अदा.
बुक के लास्ट पन्ने पे तो आज तक साइन नहीं किया. बट या आई हैव हिज बुक साइन, माय बुक साइंड द
Lucky.
लास्ट पेज.
I have books signed. Yeah, from one to author.
Which is your favorite book?
I
or
think
like-
The Alchemist.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
All time?
Yeah.
And you read often, like every day?
Same किताब
Not the
थोड़ी
same
पढ़ती
book, but other
हूँ. हाँ
books.
हाँ, I do.
Every day?
Before sleeping.
Yeah?
10-20 pages, not much. ऐसे मैं कोई voracious reader नहीं हूँ, but I like to read. तो मैं 10-20 पेज तो पढ़ती हूँ रोज.
Like the kind of books?
अभी मैंने लास्ट किताब पढ़ी सती सावित्री by देवदत्त पटनायक. It was a very interesting take on how women have been in Indian mythology, how they've been interpreted or misrepresented, or etc. etc. Just a lot of stories about women from Indian mythology, which I thought was very interesting. But I like to read about spirituality, philosophy primarily. I don't like reading fiction that much. So non-fiction.
Have you tried ever?
Yeah. But like बचपन में फिर भी, but not much.
वो qualify नहीं करता fiction को.
हाँ, मैं नहीं पढ़ती.
Like I've found my space of fiction in the
Murakami is
19th
still.
century European literature.
No, that's too
And I've
intense.
struggled for a very long time to actually find the literature that I enjoy. So
पर तुम तो राइटर हो ना.
ये तो सिर्फ मार्केटिंग है.
क्या मार्केटिंग है? वायरल रील्स भी मार्केटिंग है. गाड़ी चलाते चलाते शायरी
वहाँ
कर
पे
रहे
तो
हो.
बेच रहे हैं ना खुद को हम सब.
हाँ.
That's why I asked कि आपको build करना अच्छा लगता है कि sale करना अच्छा लगता है. Because as somebody who creates or
आपको
has
क्या
an
अच्छा
artist,
लगता है?
I think like जब खुद को बेचना होता है तब आपको बिकाऊ फील पहली बार होना शुरू होता है, जो बहुत बड़ा वजन होता है.
हाँ, that's true.
जैसे जो सबसे बड़ा डिफरेंस है बिल्ड करने में और बेचने में, बेचने में हाथ हमेशा जोड़े रखना पड़ता है और बिल्ड करने के लिए हाथ को खोलना पड़ता है. सो दैट्स अ बिग डिफरेंस दैट आई फील लाइक आई वुड वांट somebody to take care of the other things where you can just be like Shah Rukh Khan and in a movie song, which is a very romantic idea in my head, and I really enjoy that side. But that also adds, I think, having gotten the opportunity to do both these ends and probably in your case as well, kind of adds another dimension to you. It adds a certain layer of humility to you.
बेचे अभी हमने जो पहना हुआ है इसको.
हाँ, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. क्या पहना है? Like, can you?
Custom made Pranav Mishra kurta.
वो वहाँ पर क्या है?
With the 1.5 stars. which is like, you know,
Like a cheap Bollywood movie.
not a. So if I'm not mistaken, from our last discussion, this means ke few things.
It means few things.
It means a few things philosophically, all encompassed in this. देखो how profound.
Wow.
कि एक तो बहुत जिंदगी अभी बची है, अभी you've not accomplished as much, you're still raw and new on the journey of evolution, कि अभी इतनी दूर पहुँचे हो, अभी इतनी दूर जाना है, बट वो कवर करने के लिए अभी टाइम भी है तुम्हारे पास, you know, so you should never feel like a 10 or 10, because then you'll never give yourself the opportunity for improvement.
No, so it's very interesting because 12 साल पहले when we were conceptualizing and we started human, तो पहले दिन पर मैंने ये टैटू कराया था जो कि 1.5 stars है, और philosophy यही है because मेरा सरनेम भी मिश्रा है, and you know Misra is also comes from Farsi to Urdu, which is, it's always incomplete. It's always a part.
Is it like
of,
a verse?
Yeah, एक शेर का एक टुकड़ा है.
हाँ.
तो उसी तरह मुझे भी हमेशा फील होता है, एक तरह से ईगो को भी, आर्टिस्टिक ईगो को भी चेक करता है कि तुम्हें इतना ही मालूम है. तो एक दायरा बना करके रखता है कि अभी बहुत कुछ देखना है, बहुत कुछ जानना है, यू नो, बहुत बड़ा मैदान कवर करने के लिए बाकी है, बहुत कुछ सीखना है. सो ये कंसिस्टेंट ग्रोथ की एक फ़िलॉसफी है कि आप हमेशा यू नो आप आगे बढ़ने के लिए तत्पर रहें. वो मिश्रा की कोर फिलॉसफी है. अदरवाइज क्या है, कपड़े तो फट ही जाते हैं कितने भी अच्छे बनाए हों. तो
तुम तो फटे हुए ही बनाते हो. सुपर ह्यूमन की पूरी कलेक्शन.
बहुत मेहनत लगती है उनको फाड़ने में, बहुत सारी टीम लगती है, बहुत सारी मशीन्स लगती है उसको फाड़ने में. बट या
मुझे पता है बहुत मेहनत लगती है, और तुम बहुत अच्छे कपड़े बनाते हो, मैंने बहुत सारे पहने भी हैं. सबको पता है. हाँ?
तुम बहुत अच्छे कपड़े बनाते. आगे बोलो और तारीफ करो.
क्या कर तो दी, तुम मेरी करो ना. मैं गेस्ट हूँ तुम्हारी.
मैं होस्ट हूँ तुम्हारा.
होस्ट की कौन तारीफ करते हैं, गेस्ट की करते हैं ना.
नहीं बानी, हम बहुत अच्छी हैं. आपने इतना कीमती वक्त निकाला हमारे साथ, आपके दर्शकों से आपको रूबरू कराने के लिए इतना टाइम निकाला. और एंड ऑन अ सीरियस नोट, इट्स बीन अ प्लेजर टू talk to you outside of our comfort zones also, because there are so many dimensions that I think we touched upon even as friends, which gave us an opportunity to kind of know each other much better, because most of the times, you know,
I think we know each other enough.
Yeah, but there's a beauty to kind of, I think you know, while I was talking to you and while the camera was on, there's always an added sense of responsibility that the camera is on. You can never ignore it. And I think that just leaves a certain sense of, you know, you're composed and you're trying to dig in more, you're putting more effort to dig in more deeper. So I love this dimension to our equation. And thank you for, I would say, allowing me to host you on your own show. You know, which is a new benchmark.
Thank you for accepting and doing it. I couldn't think of a better person who we celebrate with 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, congratulations to you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll see you after hours.
After hours.
करो.
मुझे शुरू करना है.
Obviously.
बानी. So 100th episode बानी.
ये पागल हो क्या? एपिसोड 100 नहीं, अभी तो बताया.
हाँ, ठीक है, फिर से रोल करते हैं.
Continue rolling and action.
ऐसे कुछ बोलो ना, हाय बानी, वेलकम टू योर ओन शो, कुछ ऐसे बोलो ना.
Okay, perfect.
100,000 100 कुछ भी चल रहा है.